Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a brand new and live Cosmic Human Design podcast. That's right, we are back on a Wednesday, and we are here to bring you some great stuff here. Not only do we talk about Cosmic Human Design, we dive into the I Ching and all kinds of things, philosophies, and whatever else Professor Richard's got for us at the end of the show. He's always got some great stuff lined up. Tonight we got some really interesting things about the 13, isn't it, Jarin? We're going to be talking about the 13.
Yeah, the 13th sign of Fucus that we've had. We had our full moon in Fucus for all those out there. The common world will say that it's been in Sagittarius through the false lens of tropical astrology, but through true sidereal astrology, the full moon was in a Fucus, which carries a lot of special qualities.
Excellent. And that is the voice of JARIN KENYON, a traveling motivational speaker, manifestation teacher, and cosmic human design coach. Look at that. I got that down pretty good. I know who you are, JARIN. And then, of course, we've got Professor Richard. He's going to be talking about the helpers of the invisible world tonight. We're going to have that towards the end. That sounds amazing. Richard is a Yale graduate, and he was the guy behind this new cosmic human design system, doing the math of the new sidereal astrology and making it fit into this, and it fit like a glove in harmony. How you doing tonight, Richard?
Yeah, what's up, Greg? Nice to be back for another episode. Sounds like we got some exciting topics tonight.
Absolutely. And as always, I like to start off the show with some fun stuff to get the energy going in the room. I always find some videos around the internet, especially this TikTok thing out there, whatever that is, and that usually has some pretty interesting stuff. So I have a couple of them. They're quick videos, but the first one's just a simple video about teaching what human design or cosmic human design is. You can use all of the same things human design has, all the books, all the internet sites, all of the charts, but the cosmic human design gives you your real design. So you're going to get the actual design to the sidereal astrology, and then you plug it into the human design system, and that's how that works. So all of the stuff out there that has to do with human design, you can use for this. So just so you know, to clear that up.
Yeah, and Greg, just let me say something about that, because that's one of the things that, how I know this is correct is because, yes, we're using a totally different astrology in cosmic human design, but the fact that you can just kind of plug and play these, everything that was created for human design and, see where it fits in the true sidereal arena and see how everything lines up, with those same terms and descriptions that have been in use with human design for years now, and we actually come to find out they work even better in cosmic human design, because now we've got the correct astrology. And so this is all part of a massive evolution of the human design knowledge, and it all works together, it all fits together.
Absolutely. And for everybody out there, we are live on YouTube and on Rumble and a bunch of different other places. So if you want to write in, there is a live chat board, and I will be watching that. So if you got some interesting stuff, got questions, we like to answer them. And as you see on the screen right now, there is a chat board in the middle there. So your message may pop up on there as well. All right, let's get into our first video. Just bear with me a second as this...
How to read a human design chart.
I got to pop it up first. All right, there we go. Here we go. How to read a human design chart.
So all of these shapes in the middle are your centers. If you have them colored in similar to these here, that means you have consistent energy there. And if it's white, like this one or this one over here, that means it is open or undefined and you do not have consistent energy there, and you take energy in from other people there. And all of the centers correlate to different parts of your body similarly to the chakra system. So all of these numbers here on the side correlate to all the numbers and the lines going in between all of the centers. So the black is your conscious energy. So this is what you're going to resonate with mentally. And then your red lines or the red gate energy is actually unconscious, and that's more in your body. And this also correlates to like generational trauma.
Does that sound about right, guys? What did you think about that little demonstration there? Because I'm just trying to give people who aren't familiar with this system as much, just a little visual there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it sounded pretty good. I don't know about the last part, the generational trauma. That sounds like you know, a progressive kind of idea. You know, it's generational oppression or whatever. But anyways, you know, it's very, very good. That's a question a lot of people actually have is, you know, what's the difference between the two sides, the personality and the design? And you know, what are all those numbers? It can be somewhat intimidating, you know, if you are just coming into it.
Yeah, it almost looks like a game of dominoes where you're like trying to, you know, those triatomos where you're trying to put the things together.
Yeah.
But are we grabbing energy from other people to help fill those empty zones?
Yeah, you know, like she said, that the open centers are where you are receptive to energy. So it's like you're absorbing those types of consciousness from your environment. If you, for example, if you've got the solar plexus, the emotional center, undefined, it means that you tend to be more empathic. You can be empathic and really be able to feel what other people are feeling around you, and absorb those emotions into yourself. But that's the thing. That's where you have to be careful also with the open centers, because when you're taking in something, you could also be taking in the conditioning, the not self conditioning. And so in those particular areas, you tend to be more prone to acting out of your not self, because as she said, that's not where you have the consistent energy. It's not consistently you. The defined areas are consistently you. And it's not really something you even have to think about. But in the open centers, you know, that's something that you need to be aware of, because those are the particular areas where your not self, your ego, is going to try to get you off track, where you're going to be led astray, you know.
So it's not always a positive. It can be a negative as well. You got to be careful on who's filling that color in for you. For sure.
Yeah, there's a potential for positive and negative in anything, you know, and it's all perspective and awareness that counts anyway. So even if it's a negative effect, so to speak, if you're aware of it and you learn from it and you're able to utilize it correctly, then it's not so bad. Unfortunately, you know, beyond the fact that most people have no idea that they are energy systems and that they have a unique energetic signature, a unique blueprint, you know, even those that do, they have a false element of what their design is, which comes through the tropical astrology we've spoken before. So you got a lot of layers until you can get to the true you. And then once you're the true you and you become aware, and as Richard mentioned about the undefined aspects where you're, you know, receiving conditioning and whatnot, that's got its own level of Jedi training to it, you know, because you don't want to block it and call it bad. That's not what this is all about. You know, in fact, it's through synergy that things get truly created and evolved, you know. So in other words, the three of us on this show, you know, we all condition each other and are conditioned by each other. And it's through unique blends of gifts of masculine into feminine and vice versa that causes greatness. It causes new, it causes fresh. And we're here to not only be ourselves, which is part of the game here of cosmic human design, but it's also wisdom of choice, you know, to learn through discernment and through sensing who and what feels right around you that you want to allow in. And it takes you into territories that, you know, normally get to experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to lead right into my next video here. It's a quick one. So let me get it playing here. All right, here we go.
His reaction, manage your truth.
When I heard Mel Robbins say, don't manage people's reactions, manage your truth, I was like, where the heck in my chart would that be where I'm managing other people's reactions? Because I noticed like that's something that I actually do a lot, and that would be right there in this completely open solar plexus. So if you're somebody who has an undefined solar plexus, this means that you take in emotions from your environment and you amplify them back. So you would be more likely to want to manage other people's responses because of the emotional energy that gets executed from other people. Meaning you just want to keep everybody happy so you don't have to feel the energy of what it means when people aren't happy. And if you have an undefined heart center, you're more likely to put yourself in situations where you want to try to prove your worth so that you can be liked by other people. So I would really look at these two centers in your chart and see which one you have undefined.
Well, there we go. Very interesting there. I thought that was a good one because I think that it goes along with a song that I remember when I was younger, Everything to Everyone. And you try to be everything to everyone and it gets you in big trouble. And it seems like in that case, she was saying that you're trying to please everybody because you want to keep that good energy. Is that what she was saying there?
Yeah, what she said about the solar plexus was totally on point. And, I just want to say that, there's nothing inherently bad about having an undefined center. That's a common misconception that I've seen a lot of people tend to naturally have when they come into human design, that it's better to have more defined centers than undefined centers. That's a natural reaction a lot of people have when they're looking at their chart. They think that I don't want them to think that they don't have that center, because everyone has all the centers and everyone has all the gene keys. If we really think about it, this chart is just showing us where our particular unique differentiation is going, in what direction it's headed. Like she said, realizing what centers we have that are undefined, the white ones, that can help us realize a lot of negative conditioning that we have picked up. Like I said, there's nothing inherently bad about having an undefined center. It's the fact that we live in the midst of so much conditioning that it tends to be associated with something bad, like subconsciously, because where we have those undefined centers, that's where we're getting all of this negative conditioning from the world around us. And we have to sort through that. It's like the defined centers are you and the undefined centers are where you're going to school at. That's something that Ra used to say. So that's where we have the potential to pick up a lot of wisdom in life. And as it seems that, the girl in the video has picked up some wisdom as well. I don't know if she was using a cosmic human design chart or not.
Right.
I don't think so, but
right.
She's learned something from that, from looking at what centers she has.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the real potential there. That's the real potential, with the defined versus the undefined centers. It's being able to learn all this stuff, more easily, more naturally than what is defined, because what's defined is always on in you. It's not something that you have to learn.
Interesting. Jarin?
Yeah. What this cosmic human design chart does for us is it allows us to see how we express both our masculine and feminine qualities. So you hear a joke, or a stereotype. Well, men are like this, women are like this, or, you could go on. And of course, there's variables to it. But to me, at its pure source, this is the most accurate way in which you can see, hey, this is how I express myself. Not only that, but this is how I engage with life. This is how I ride the cosmic tide. And we have a unique blend of masculine and feminine qualities within us. And so looking at one as good or one as bad isn't really it at all. It's just like Richard says, is it more me and consistent, or is it more something that's transitory through time of transits of astrology, or is it through conditioning of experiencing others? And it's all a school to me. I mean, It's a school to learn your own consistent karma or destiny attributes, because that's how I view the masculine qualities within you. It's a destiny waiting to unfold. And then there's the feminine side, which, you know, is experiencing others and wisdom of choice. And that has its own schooling to it. And so when it comes down to it, you could study this forever. You know, even Richard and I are constant students to this. There's so much to know, so much to learn, but there's some basic foundational aspects that really matter. So that's why you want to check out your strategy, your type. Okay, they kind of go along together, your authority and your profile, and go from there. But those specific initial qualities is really what's important to get going and to get into the higher versions of yourself, as well as within the quantum mechanics of action, of receiving, intuition, and action. And that's what design can bring you, not just personality characteristics or how do I feel. It's also literal quantum mechanics so that you can manifest not only easier, not only faster, but with a more efficient energy and with less third dimensional dualistic karmic energy and trauma, like the woman mentioned. We can stop this by following our intuition, understanding our strategy, and being who we really are.
Very good, very good. All right, well, Mr. Kenyon, number 13, a number 13. I always heard 13 was kind of a bad luck number. Well, Friday the 13th, I guess. What do we got with 13, Jarin? Give us some what's going on in the sky? What's going on right now?
So it's interesting, you know, we see Simi's on with us today. Shout out. You know, I was watching Simi's video. She did it yesterday or the day before out in Australia. She did a 45-minute video on the 13th sign of the fucus and what it means. So I appreciate you being on today, because I learned a little bit from you. I've learned from Richard. We're interested to hear his take on this. But, you know, the bottom line is, with cosmic human design and true sidereal astrology, we're using 13 signs, not 12. And the accurate constellation sizes, as well as the correct precision and movement we've had over eons as we, you know, circle around the galaxy. There's lots of changes going on. And outside of that, let's just get into the 13th sign that Greg's mentioning here. It's a lost sign that was cut out, you know, a long time ago. And from what I'm hearing, it's really a long time ago, even back to the Babylonian times.
Wow.
And it's put us into false time. You know, we're in a matrix, which, you know, for some of us at its edge or at its, you know, real wall, has to do with false time, which is also creates a false identity, which keeps us in separation from the harmony of the cosmos and the rest of this galaxy. So the 13th sign is really key on establishing our whole selves again. And the 13th sign, called the fucus, happened to just be the full moon. The full moon, you know, you'll see on our human design charts or astrological readings, you know, you'll see, oh, the full moon was in Sagittarius. Well, no, it wasn't. This is one of the major important aspects of sidereal astrology, and what 99% of the world does not know is that the full moon was in a fucus. And it's special. It's a special time to have the full moon in a fucus, because a fucus has to do with the element of spirit and ether and non-duality. It's neither masculine or feminine. All the other signs have elements of agenda, as Simi would even call it, an agenda within it, masculine, feminine. Not for good or bad. It's just the traits of which they are. Now, those 12 signs, in my view, is where not only is it natural, but the conditioning matrix or control system has influence over those. Large influence, but not through the 13th sign, not this element of grace, the subtle nature of what everything is born from. And it connects us to, the fucus is connected to the center of the galaxy. So a couple days ago, I believe we had the apex, you know, where we were direct alignment with the Pleiades, Alcyone, and the central sun. So we have direct alignment to source, which to me breaks the code. You know, it breaks the wall, the block. So we've had this penetrating energy of deep subconscious healing, because Ophiuchus is the healer, as well as gaining access to you could call it the underworld, and I also call it the hidden world, what you cannot see, gain access to it. And then as we transition into Sagittarius, which we're doing right now, then you can actually understand it and express it and give out this higher knowledge. So perhaps people out there have been going through some deep changes inside of yourself and in the world. And for those of us descending, it's a special time of grace to clear off the old wounds, but also to access our quantum potential, which is what this cosmic design is helping us to do as well. Understanding that if you take out spirit, if you take out ether, what is there? Well, this robotic, inorganic life. We are organic creatures. And, this is just my own understanding. And I'm sure Simi and Richard would have other things to say, but it's a special time. And, we're entering out of it now. I believe we're actually heading into Sagittarius, but it's important to understand this 13th sign and what it comes from. And not only just what it is astrologically, but feel into the elements of what it represents and realize that this is what makes us conscious creators again. This is what helps us to become one with ourselves and with this cosmos, is this subtle energy, not just the outer planes or the earthly existence or the even masculine, feminine principle.
Yeah, I love it. Simi is talking about the 1320 time, which is something that, I've studied a lot. The law of time, created by a guy named Jose Arguelles, had this theory that, the 1260 time is the clock time, the Babylonian time, which has, kept us in a mental prison. And the 1320 she's talking about, the 1320 time, is a natural measure of time, which Jose Arguelles calls the synchronic order. And it's the defining parameters of, this thing called the Tzolk'in, which is very much related to the Mayans and their concept of time, and 2012 and all of that kind of stuff. According to the Mayans in 2013 right there is supposed to be when the new age began, and in fact it did, and we're seeing more and more of that every day. And I just want to say the 13 represent the 13 tones. There's 13 tones, and the 13th tone is called the cosmic tone. The cosmic tone, and the 20 represents 20 different solar seals, and all of those are archetypes which fall in line with the 20 to 21, 22 codon rings of the I Ching and the Jinkings. So this is all very, very, very deep, what we're talking about here. Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, is, it should be included in the zodiac, because the definition of the zodiac, of the signs in the zodiac, is that it needs to touch the ecliptic, which is the path, the imaginary path of the sun. As the earth travels around it, the sun traces a path of its own when viewed from Earth, and any constellation that touches that is included in the zodiac, except Ophiuchus for some reason. If you look at the actual astrology, you can see that it does in fact touch the ecliptic. So it should naturally be included. But most people, they give it space to Scorpio or Sagittarius or something. And Ophiuchus, one of its meanings is the serpent bearer. The serpent bearer, there's a picture of this guy like holding a serpent above his shoulders, like breaking it in half. It's so cool. And so the serpent is, associated with evil and with, all this bad stuff going on. So Ophiuchus, metaphorically, is destroying the serpent. And so that's one way to look at it. Is this 13th sign is destroying the serpent energy of the world.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Jarin, but I love when Richard can do that kind of stuff. You got a photographic memory or something, Richard? Is that how you can do that
I
stuff?
don't know about that.
Man, you just pull that right out. Amazing.
Yeah, well, Greg, I just want to say, you know, like it's really awesome to have this kind of information presented. I mean, at an ideal time in its initial stage, and of course, it would take a lot more time to really get into it, which we will further. I know Richard is delving into this further, as well as Simi. I mean, to me, two of the people that would know the most about this that I'm aware of are right here within this collective energy. So it's awful interesting that many of us are starting to portray this and express this at a key time, because to me what it's all coming back to, though, is what's real and oneness and what we actually come from and who we actually really are. And if you cut out certain elements and cut out certain pieces, you can develop control, limitation, and, you know, a parasitic society to feed off of.
Yeah.
And this is what we're rising out of. So
Yeah, and you know, this is absolutely groundbreaking information right now. This is something that nobody's talking about. Very, very few are. They don't understand this big picture of what's going on here and what this does to the matrix when we start breaking this down, when we start bringing this information out there. And that's why people are slow to come over to this, because they can't get that vision yet. They can't see it yet. And that's all part of breaking down the matrix. That's the Great Awakening. And it's happening in little steps. You can see, you know, the Great Awakening's happening in maybe crypto. It's happening in certain areas, right? That maybe feed the ego too at the same time. But when you get into this stuff, this is pure spirituality, pure. And you are hitting the absolute truth like a home run. And so right now, whoever is listening out there, you are getting the groundbreaking information right now of the new Earth, of the 5D Earth, of what has been hidden from us for so long and where our power lies. This is it right here. This is how important this stuff is that you're hearing.
yeah,
I love that, Greg.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Richard.
No,
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, just quickly, I just since we're on this, before we transition, I want to just say, you know, in the Hindu culture, okay, in the Hindu society here, call it a religion if you want. On Sunday was the birth of Muruga, which is the brother of Ganesh, for those that are aware of Ganesh, the elephant god. Not as many are aware of Muruga. And why they call it the birthday of Muruga is because of the alignment to the central sun, to the pure source of the galaxy. Not just the sun that sources us, but the source of the galaxy. And I just wanted to say, he's the Pleiadian, for those that are into the races and into the Pleiadian message and the real thing going on here. Not that it's only Pleiades, it's not, but he's the Pleiadian leader. It's representative of the Pleiadian energy that many of us, which was Sunday, you know we have connection to. And I've heard even Simi mention, just throw you out there, Simi, elements when we were talking of channeling about the 144,000 coming through the fucus, you know, getting into this matrix where we could cause the change. So it's a peak time. Now, what does that also mean? To me, it's been a time these past few days for those of us to just put ourselves out there and take actions, because we have less limitation, because we are more free energy. Now, to do that, we're going to go through transitions inside of ourselves that maybe don't feel well, you know, that are uncomfortable. The transition is a little uncomfortable, but if you ride the wave, you be yourself the best you can be. We have the opportunity to really quantum leap, which is what we're going to watch the collective do here. So I just wanted to throw in the Pleiadian element. He also rules Mars, Muruga. So what did we have? Full moon on Tuesday. Tuesday is ruled by Mars. So all the dots are pointing to what we are on the ground, and those invisible helpers that we're going to talk about later, even alien races that are helping to cause this ascension of the Earth, and so that we get in rhythm and harmony with the cosmos and the galaxy once again, and we are not off in a quarantine, enslaved, parasitic planet of the meat body and the meat mind, or the animal body and the animal mind. We're becoming true spirits once again, conscious creators, and the cosmic design is our vehicle, in a sense, of transition and how we're going to live within the new earth.
Fantastic. And Richard, you want to finish this up so we can get to the daily?
Well, just a cool coincidence I wanted to mention, you know, when I've made my first true sidereal human design video and, you know, had to choose a thumbnail or whatever, I let it choose one automatically. And guess what? It automatically chose the picture of Ophiuchus. You know, out of all the footage I had in that 1 hour video, it, you know, chose that for the thumbnail. I thought that was very cool.
Love synchronicities. They're such a telltale sign of what's going on in your life. It's fantastic. We see them all the time, don't we, Jarin?
Yeah. Hey, everybody, the more you see them, pay attention and even engage the ones that feel right, the more you are in a higher version of time and in a and like Richard mentioned, you know, you're in synchronicity, you're in the synchronic universe. You can actually elevate above that the more you become your God self. But while we're living here and while we're within it, we want to be in a higher version of time. So yes, paying attention to synchronicities that kind of really blow your mind, I would listen to and trust, you know, have faith with it, whatever it may be, even if in the future is where it becomes clear. It's information given to you.
Excellent. All right, Richard, I'm going to bring over the daily, and you can lead us through this. Maybe like 5 to 7 minutes. We'll do this, and then we'll get to your stuff at the end.
Check out the daily. Let's see what's going on here. So the first thing we can see is today is kind of a unique day because we've got the sun and earth in one of the it's one of only three places it can be where the sun and earth actually define a channel by themselves in the body graph, and that's the 23 and 43, which are at the top there, going from the ajna, the green triangle, to the throat, the brown rectangle. And you know, there's only 3 cases, 3 times where that can happen. The 2034, and then you know, there's another one, the 3740 as well. So the 2343, it's this when it's in the sun and earth, it's going to exert a very profound effect on the world, because this particular sun and earth also define a channel of their own, the 2343. So let's look at that. This is the channel of structuring, of bringing mental concepts into manifestation or into explanation. As we see, we also have the cross of explanation today. And that's why it's called that, because we have the 2343, which is all about taking mental concepts and being able to explain them verbally with simplicity. You know, in the Gene Keys, the gift of the 23 is simplicity, which is a far cry from the shadow of complexity, And my God, isn't the world we live in today full of complexities? And you notice that's a shadow. That's not a city. It's a shadow, people. Complexity is a shadow. You know, it's not good to have all this stuff, all this information that you just can't make sense out of, that it really just weighs you down. You know, that's what all the shadow states do in one way or another. They weigh you down. And so when you've got so many things going on that you can't concentrate, you know, that's not good. That's complexity. And you want to get rid of that. You want to transmute that into simplicity. And, you know, and lots of people say that, you know, they say that they, you know, take things simply, you know, that they try and simplify things. You know, in my experience, people, you know, even people who say that, they don't simplify things enough, you know, which takes a rare gift, actually, to be able to simplify something down to its essence, or as the city of the 23 says, its quintessence, which is actually a funny word, quintessence, as Richard Rudd explains in the Gene Keys. The word quintessence actually means it's like a never-ending word. the meaning of it is. It's the essence of the essence of the essence of the essence ad infinitum.
Wow.
So that's what quintessence means. So it's actually it's distilling it down to its absolute, absolute purity. What is absolutely essential about, what's the essence of what I'm doing, or of what I'm thinking, of what I'm doing with my life, what's the quintessence of it. And then we've got the 43, which is the programming partner there, which means they work together. The 43 is about insight, it's the gift of insight. And at the shadow, it's the shadow of deafness, of not listening to anyone but yourself, really. That's the real problem if you have the 43-23 channel, because you do have this potential to, explain things so well, but at the shadow, that's like, it becomes just a narrow-minded focus of yours, that you are in, and you're deaf to your surroundings, to the people around you, to what they're saying, to what the cosmos is telling you. And the 43, it's a very much an auditory type of energy. It's that voice that you can hear in your mind that just comes with the answer, the insight. That's why it's the gift of insight, because an insight comes to you. It's like a soundless sound. It comes into your mind, but it's not an actual sound that you're actually hearing.
Richard, sometimes I get like even a vision. Yeah. Like I'll have a flash of a vision. Would that be the same type of thing?
Yeah, that would be very, very similar. Yeah, an epiphany. That's like an epiphany. That's the city of the 43. Which goes beyond an insight. Yeah, that'd be like the highest frequency of that, Greg.
Yeah, just to interject on Greg's behalf here, his design lends itself to this, but his intuitive nature and abilities, Greg, sound creates the light. We speak of that often. Sound is first. So Richard, speaking of a subtle sound at the the essence level of sound that flickers into light, into a vision. And so you're connecting those dots here. So when you have those moments and you have those visions, it started as this sensation, the sound, but it came light. And that's an amazing gift, especially when people pay attention and then act on that gift.
Yeah. When you have the all the tools ready to go, like you're paying attention, and you have your gift ready, and you get that intuition, you get that epiphany, and you're like, boom, I'm ready to go. Or I write it down, or I do what I need to do to get that in motion, right? That's where the steps are, So, when we got to be ready to go, you got to have your gift ready, and you got to say, there's my epiphany, there's my intuition, there's my inner truth coming through. Now it's time to act. Good stuff there.
Yeah, I love that, Greg. That's exactly correct. If we look at the words on the incarnation cross, what it says here, says, ever the outsider, they are constantly explaining themselves or offering unique concepts, principles, and insights in order to integrate them into another person's evolutionary, revolutionary, or analytical process. So that's the cross of explanation. That's what it means to, that's something else about the 23-43, being able to explain yourself, so today is a day that, if you've had, it'd be a great day to give a presentation at work, to describe PowerPoint and see, look at the figures here. It's because of this, these areas these we're forecasting high growth here. You know, today'd be a great day to give an important presentation to your boss or something.
Also, maybe write a mission statement for your business as well, or something. If you have a small business, rewrite your mission statement. It might come out and be amazing. Good times.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. You know, I love seeing the transits in design, and you know how they connect with other. Well, astrology, of course, is in design, but how they connect with, you know, all the cycles and rhythms and things that you can look at. I mean, what I'm hearing you speak about, Richard, with our current day and the ability to express, you know, these thoughts, and it goes right along with the moon transitioning out of Ophiuchus and into Sagittarius. I mean, Ophiuchus is the middle between Scorpio and the, you know, onwards, you know, and going through the hidden world and the unknown, and things being brought to the surface that were not seen, not clear, and things that are almost beyond comprehension, or the inability to speak of it. As it transitions into Sagittarius, which we just did, that moves into a time when you're able to comprehend it and speak on it, and it correlates exactly with the transit and design with the 43 to 23. I mean, these things all add up, and it's wonderful to see having things correctly timed now. That's it. It's more of my own perspective and appreciation, but it's excellent. It's cool.
All right, Richard.
Yeah, and speaking of the moon there, we see the moon in the 9.1. That's for today, which is the first gate of Sagittarius. So that means that, you know, it was just in Ophiuchus. It was just in Ophiuchus yesterday. And, you know, now it's moved into Sagittarius by today. But, you know, the nine is the taming power of the small, the taming power of the small. And JARIN, you know, he was talking before the show about all these things that he was understanding now, you know, and how the moon was, you know, helping him understand these various things. You know, that's the 9. That's a lot of the 9 energy right there.
Really cool.
I just wanted to say, although it did just move into the 9. So,
Richard, I want to get to your stuff. I don't want to cut you off. So
yeah, let's get into it.
So I think that's good for the daily. Everybody got a good idea of what's going on today, and actually that kind of lasts for like 3 or 4 days in there.
Yeah.
So just be aware of all that stuff that we just talked about there. And then we're going to get into Richard's stuff, because I didn't want to cut him off. I want to make sure he's got enough time to get this in, because I think it's going to be very important for everybody to see. So, all right. So let me just get it where it needs to be. Okay. Take it away, Richard.
Yeah, Greg. So what I've got here is a passage from the I Ching, the Oracle of the Cosmic Way, naturally. And, you know, a major theme throughout the book is these, what it calls the helpers. And these are the helpers as helping aspects of the cosmos. So let's read here. It's pretty self-explanatory, this passage. So let's see. The helpers, okay, I wrote that twice. We began to learn about the helpers in connection with receiving hexagram 3, making a new beginning. We came to understand from the judgment saying it furthers one to appoint helpers, that the text was not referring to humans as helpers, as has been traditionally interpreted, but to helpers of the invisible world. These helpers, depending on their unique functions in the cosmic whole and in nature, are referred to in a number of hexagrams that are named such as a wagon for loading, a vehicle for crossing the great water, or as specialists in their fields whom one needs to give a hand. Those are actual quotes from actual hexagrams in the I Ching. In other places, the I Ching indicates that some helper is blocked or imprisoned, as in his right arm is broken. You know, the I Ching's very metaphorical. So that's the true meaning of these quotes here. Or the wagon dragged back, the oxen halted. Helpers become blocked or imprisoned when a person has forgotten or dismissed their help or has denied their existence. The sage brings the helpers back into our awareness and helps us free those which have become disabled or imprisoned due to mistaken ideas we project on the cosmos, on nature, or on our own natures. Their sensitivity to the way we think is due to the fact that the whole cosmos is consciousness. So that's a big point right there, that actually everything is consciousness. You know, we've got all these scientists running around trying to figure out, oh, well, what is consciousness? You know, we don't understand it. But actually everything is consciousness. And all quote unquote physical objects have a consciousness as well. You know, even those seemingly inanimate things. Every aspect of nature is a helper with a unique function in the overall scheme of things. And thus we learn the correct way to name a particular helper is to name it by its unique function. For example, there are the cosmic doctor and the cosmic surgeon, which can be asked to take care of mistaken ideas that act as spells and poison arrows that cause illness and disease. In addition, there are health helpers that comprise the self-healing abilities of every aspect of nature, including our own natures. There's also the cosmic banker that directs money to flow in accordance with the cosmic harmony. There are business helpers and helpers that help us find lost things or something we need, such as a home or a job. Helpers of relationships and a helper of the love relationship. And there's also the cosmic army that fights violations of the cosmic principles when asked for its help. So we've got all these helpers out there that you can actually ask for help towards a particular goal. And you know, that's something that's completely foreign to our everyday understanding of how things work. And you know, the people who would say, oh, well, I don't feel helped, you know, I don't feel like, you know, I'm getting any help from any cosmos or anything. Well, that's because for one, you probably got some mistaken ideas or beliefs in there, or in ego mode, or quite simply because you didn't ask. And that's something that, you know, or hardly anybody does, is ask for help from the cosmos. And, you know, then these helpers will come and help you. And that's an actual thing. They help in various ways. For example, by filling your mind with the correct information that you need, by giving you the words to say on a moment-to-moment basis. You know, it's, you know, you'll experience your own consciousness being filled with the correct solution to a problem. You know, and also, you know, these helpers, they operate in the realm of the atom. So they're able to actually change atomic molecules, which we know is consciousness as well. So, and if everything's consciousness, then that means consciousness can change anything about reality. And so consciousness can change physical existence, can materialize things, you know. All these crazy, almost sci-fi futuristic powers are made possible by these helpers, in fact. And it says here that, you know, all the helpers maintain and restore the cosmic harmony. Let's scroll down a little bit, Greg. Yeah, let's go down even further there to the second page. Yeah, so I just wanted to read the end here. Those other paragraphs are basically about how mistaken ideas and beliefs block the helpers from helping you, and you know, can even lead to a feeling of being tormented because you've demonized a helper, and so it becomes perverted because of your thinking, because of your consciousness. And so then it can feel like you're being tormented by some invisible force. I'm sure lots of people can recognize that feeling. So when we, I want to close with this last part here. When we realize the ways in which the helpers can respond to our needs and how they are perfectly equipped to give help that benefits the whole, we also realize how presumptuous it is for humans to think that they, quote, have to make everything work, and what an impossible burden they have taken upon themselves. Clearly, such an idea violates the cosmic virtue of modesty, which the sage shows us as the result of recognizing and taking our true place in the cosmos. Modesty, when seen in the context of all the help the cosmos makes available to us, has nothing to do with the common idea of lack, self-denial, or being shorn of everything but the bare essentials. On the contrary, modesty is the joyful recognition that humans are not meant to be heroes, but part of a loving and caring cosmos that provides them with everything they need when they relate to it correctly. And yeah, so, you know, these helpers, you know, maintain and restore the cosmic harmony. They, and the helpers can give us everything we need. They can help us in every single task that we undertake. If we're just open to it, if we're open to being helped. But as it said there at the end, many humans have this idea that they, quote, have to do it all, you know, that there's no one to help them. And that idea in and of itself, no matter what else is going on, is going to block all the cosmic helpers from helping you.
Boy, what a big point that is. The ego running wild. Yeah, it's certainly something that I think a lot of us feel, this complex that we have to do it all ourselves. And, you know, it is difficult in the society we live in right now to depend on people, to depend on others. And that is part of the programming system that continues to help us fail, right? Help us fail. And so, you know, what the cosmic human design is teaching people is that we can work as teams, number one. We can depend on others with their skills and their abilities and to show us how things work. And then we can show them how we work things. And we start working in harmony that way. And then, like you said, with free will, if we just ask, then we shall receive. But if we don't ask, we shall not receive. That is our free will. So, you know, a lot of what we've talked about in the group meditation that we do after this, actually at 9 o'clock, we've talked about that a lot. Asking. Prayer is asking. Meditation is asking. And just general releasing of your ego and just allowing the inner self coming up and to ask the universe for assistance, right? Whatever your higher belief is, whether it's Pleiadian, whether it's God, whether it's just the universe, energy, it's asking and you shall receive. And that is the biggest part we are missing right now, I believe. Jarin, what's your comments?
Yeah, I mean, empowerment and faith. You know, empowerment is, you know, you have to feel that you are worthy and capable of everything. And at the same time, understand that there is a whole cosmos out there. There is a God-like energy to everything. So you have faith in the all, which includes all the cosmic helpers. And then you have your own empowerment that feels worthy of that, that feels one with that. If you're missing either of those ingredients, you're in the ego. You can't be in faith, but be disempowered and not understand your divine nature. And you also can't understand your divine nature without realizing and welcoming the fact that there is more than just you, and that there is a whole, you know, love, light, energy out there to support experience and evolution of the universe itself. So I know I'm skipping a little bit here tonight with my Wi-Fi, but ask for help. Ask for help. That's always there. You just have to do it.
Let's ask for Jarin to have better Wi-Fi. How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, a lot of what's wrong in the world today is that we completely misunderstand the nature of consciousness itself, you know, in part because of all these false beliefs, false science that we've been indoctrinated with and then we've grown up with. And so it's become second nature, but that's a second nature that's blocking our true nature. And, you know, the alchemists, the medieval alchemists, they talked about the philosopher's stone. The philosopher's stone, if you find that, you can transmute base metals into gold. Well, you know, actually all of that is an allegory, a metaphor for, in my opinion, the philosopher's stone is consciousness itself. It's the magical substance, the magical substance of reality. And so part of this awakening is awakening to the power of our own consciousness and realize that, in fact, the cosmos is ruled by love and harmony. You know, the Cosmic I Ching, it says that love, or the force of mutual attraction, it calls it as well, is the only force operating in the universe, actually. And so, you know, once we wake up to who we really are, and as JARIN said, our own divine self, realize that that is the nature of consciousness itself. Consciousness is the divine substance, the magical substance, and we all share in that.
Yeah. You know, when we think about, you know, you said the Cosmos doctor, the Cosmos banker, like all these things, you're like, wow, like you never think about that kind of stuff. You know, and that's what I love about some of the groups we've been getting involved with, the Quantum Stellar Initiative and all that, because they bring spirituality into money. And I think we've lost a lot of that. This world has been ruled by money, and it's been this, for the people who lack or are always chasing it, it is the stress, distraction, it is the downfall of a lot of people, and it causes a lot of unhappiness, it causes divorce, it causes a lot of things, right? A lot of bad things that are going on in people's lives. And when you can start to let go and start to ask for assistance, just maybe things will start churning up and things will start working out. The luck will change, so to speak, and you'll start to see better pathways to things. Because I think the way we think with the ego is we're always got to work harder for our money. We got to go out there and chase it. And we got to go out there and get a second and third job and all these things. And what we're doing is just continuously pushing it further away from us with all of this action.
Yeah, Greg, if I could choose one word that would encapsulate the ego, it would be lack. Lack is the foundation of the ego. And because lack, if you believe that you're lacking in something, then that's going to encourage all those ego behaviors. Oh, I have to get more, you know, I have to take it, you know. But, you know, in fact, there truly is no lack. There's abundance. Instead, there's abundance of everything we need. That's cosmic principle number 55. You know, abundance is part of the cosmos. So there is no lack. So the entire economic system, which is based on scarcity, right? On lack. You know, one time I asked one of my Yale professors, you know, if the assumption of scarcity in an economics class, if the assumption of scarcity was, you know, well-founded. And, you know, he went into all this stuff, but, you know, that's the assumption there, scarcity. But if that assumption goes away, then all of modern economics falls apart.
Yeah, isn't that funny how if you think about things a certain way, and all of a sudden all their system starts falling apart. Yep, that's for sure. Well, it looks like it's just about time, guys. That was an excellent. Wow, we fit a lot of things in an hour. I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was fast tracking your. I'll use JARIN's business thing here. Fast tracking your cosmic human design tonight here for an hour. Yeah, great show, everybody. Yeah. Go ahead, JARIN. What do you got to say?
No, great show. I really think that in simplicity, asking for support and also believing in your divinity to be worthy of it, be capable of it, and be a steward of it is really, you know, where the secrets and tools kick in here. This is the secret. This is the tool. I'm empowered. I'm worthy. I'm capable of everything. And there's a whole universe out there that wants this for me and that will help me. And my talents help it, and it helps me. But if I don't get in alignment with it, we'll be in lack, we'll be in separation, which is another word I see the ego as. So we're moving back into oneness with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. This was the Cosmic Human Design podcast. If you want a free chart, go to cosmichumandesign.com. If you want to check out YouTube, go to youtube.com/Cosmic Human Design. Go over there, like that, and watch all of our past episodes along with some other videos on there that Richard puts up. And yeah, everybody have a great rest of the night. We are on every other Wednesday, so come check us out. Tell your friends about it. This is the cutting edge, God's blueprint, right here, Cosmic Human Design. I hope everybody enjoyed. We'll see you next time.